Right now, again, we're at the American Red Cross at United Methodist Church in North Charleston. We just got word that they may be bringing some other people from another shelter to this shelter because the roads out there are so bad. But we also spoke with some people. One woman who says she's lived on Sproul her entire life and she had to evacuate.
Right now, I need some help.
On Saturday morning, Kathy Jefferson says the soaking wet scene outside her home on Sproul Avenue was something she's never seen before.
When I got up, the car was covered, the flowers were floating in the yard, and I was like, oh my goodness, I can't get out. Help!
Kathy says she called her daughter, Jermel, who immediately came to her mother's aid.
I immediately got in my car and drove over here. When I got here, she was standing on the porch at first, and then all of a sudden she was in the yard.
Kathy says she then jumped into the deep water outside her home, the water up over her waist.
I mean, it was up to her chest. It was up to her chest. It wasn't past the car yet, but it was just horrible.
Kathy's home and some of the surrounding properties absolutely pounded with rain.
My house is totally full of water. The floors are all damaged. The furniture is all wet. You know, everything is gone.
With countless cars submerged all around them, residents in this North Charleston neighborhood say it's something out of a nightmare.
They're pretty much flooded out. Some have evacuated, as you can see, some are still in.
Michael Nesbitt is an actor who lives in Los Angeles but grew up in Charleston. He also could not believe his eyes.
I've just never seen anything like this here before. I mean, we could use the rain in LA instead of you guys getting it like this, man. It's just a lot of water.
And with cars and trucks cruising around the block streets and barricades, some families say this is now causing even more damage to their homes.
You know, she was telling them, no, don't come. And they were just coming, and the water was just moving like it was like a wave, like just pushing us out the way.
Now tonight, Kathy Jefferson says she will be staying with her daughter. Luckily, she has that option. But for the people out there, you or your family members who don't have that option, you can always come here, United Methodist Church, where it is a shelter sponsored by the American Red Cross.
The National Weather Service in Charleston has just issued a rare coastal flood watch 24 hours in advance of tomorrow's high tide, because we're looking at a tide tomorrow at noon that could be higher than what we saw with the peak of the full moon and supermoon tides earlier this week.
Which was more than 8.5 feet or something.
It was close to it. Yeah. And we're looking at heavy rain falling at that time.
Flooding continues to be a problem, especially near Trolley Road.
Yeah, News 2's Annie Taylor is making the rounds throughout Dorchester County, Somerville specifically. Annie, you still in the same spot? And if so, where are you? If not, where are you? Tell people what's up.
Yes. Yeah, yes, we are still in the same spot, Bacon's Bridge Road, and we are on Holly Street. It's pretty bad here. We have a gentleman behind us. He is just wading through the waters right now. We're hoping to talk to him. I just noticed that he came all the way through the waters, and this was pretty much up to all the mailboxes here. Hey, sir, do you live in Arbor Oaks Road?
You know, I didn't even plan this.
What are you doing out here? What are you doing?
I've been checking on my neighbors.
You're just checking on your neighbors?
It's bad.
Yeah, tell us what's it like back there?
It's chest deep.
Chest deep in people's homes out there?
Oh yeah, everything on the left side's flooded completely, 2 feet of water at least. You go where those trucks are parked right there, take a left into my neighborhood. I'm high and dry. I live up above all this, but there's probably, I would say, 20 houses back there that are flooded bad. Some of them didn't even have flood insurance.
An incredibly dramatic scene unfolded during News 2 5 o'clock on Monday as a pastor from a church in Somerville walked into the flooded waters surrounding the Ridgeville Cemetery and pushed an unearthed vault and casket back to the side of the road. Pastor Wayne Reeves, who you see right there from Somerville, walked through that flooded area where many say they saw snakes and alligators to bring that casket to dry land.
Why are you going in to get them?
Somebody's family out there. That's family suffering. There's their family out there popped up out of the ground. I think it's the human thing to do. This family don't want to sit out here on the edge of this road all night long watching their family members bob in the water out there. That's just not who we are. But if that was my mom or my dad, I'd walk through hell and high water. And now, today it happens to be high water.
Dorchester County Sheriff's deputies retrieved a second casket from that flood water. The cemetery at Canyon United Methodist Church actually started flooding when the rain started last week. Authorities from Dorchester County say they are going to assess all the flood damage once the waters recede.
7 minutes after the hour, the rain might be over, but the floodwaters are trickling down from the Midlands. The Black River in Kingstree has already swallowed the riverbank and several homes in Williamsburg County. The Lamar Nathaniel Johnson Bridge connects Highway 52 over the Black River, and in this video shot yesterday, the water was 6 feet from breaching the bridge. The people of Kingstree have been advised to evacuate, but most of the neighbors we spoke to waited until the very last second to leave their homes.
Everyone below me, as you can see back there, how the water's all the way up past the windows, and they had evacuated my next door neighbor yesterday. The water hit him first, but I was just stubborn and trying to work it out, live it out.
I'm 65 years old, and I've never seen this in my whole 65 years of living.
The Black River has yet to breach the Lamar Nathaniel Johnson Bridge, but the floodwaters continue to rise. We will continue to monitor the situation and bring you the very latest on air and online at counton2.com.
But I want to show you some of the rainfall totals estimated by our Storm Team 2 Doppler radar, and you can kind of pick out an area. Most of the time you're looking at least 5 inches, 6, 7, close to 8 inches over the last 24 hours.
And emergency officials again stressing the importance to just not go downtown, to stay home. And for that reason, we actually stayed here in our parking lot just to show you our parking lot completely flooded, feet of water. Might be pretty tricky when we're leaving here later tonight. Again, myself and Charleston residents cautiously marveling at today's storm.
Well, we've expected something will happen pretty soon.
Pretty crazy.
The holy city feeling the rush of the storm.
And yesterday, when we were at the grocery store and we saw these people stocking up, we're kind of laughing at them. And then today, now we wish we had done that.
Tides causing concern as seawater washed into the peninsula Saturday. Some folks getting more than what they expected touring the Battery. Plenty of rain making many streets unpassable, but a break in the clouds in the afternoon.
Everybody started walking around and smiling, so we're like, we should probably go outside too. And I mean, I'm sure there's people with their stuff messed up, but it's not been so bad.
Anytime we have a high tide or hard rain, this is what I expect in this area.
Dozens of the city's streets remain closed, but that doesn't bother those held up by the high water.
Just sit down and relax, eat, and just look at the flood out there. I wish I had a boat.
And even though it's slated to be a long, wet weekend,
we can see sunshine. This sun will come out.
We are continuing to see the heaviest rain move into parts of Georgetown and Williamsburg County. If you are watching us from those areas right now, be alert that this is a very dangerous situation.
Flooding in many areas is now subsiding. A number of people in Georgetown County are still in danger. News 2's Raymond Owens was in the Browns Ferry community outside Georgetown surveying the damage.
Well, I was amazed how the water come up within a day.
Michael Flagler spent time on his boat Saturday afternoon inspecting flooded out homes.
I just came yesterday. The water height was 2 inches from the bottom of the floor.
It's now covering the floor of his own home.
Oh, it's horrible. Two in the car yard, 2 cars in the yard covered with water.
And it's moving higher.
So I was checking and trying to get much stuff out of my house as much as possible.
The National Guard is using this vehicle to transport people into and out of the Browns Ferry community because it's really the only way in or out.
It means the world to me that I can take my truck through there and get them to where they need to be, get them what they need, and it just puts a smile on my face knowing that they're happy.
They're doing more than just offering transportation. Now notice that gentleman back there asked for a cigarette and you gave him the rest of your pack.
Yeah, I did. It seems like he was grateful for it.
Giving the people who live here a reason to smile in a situation that seems helpless at times.
Devastated, horrible, and no place to live right now, and just finding a place, try to stay and keep my family together.
This next story is one that should make your blood boil. Victims of the recent flooding say thieves broke into 2 homes in Shadow Moss Plantation after the families evacuated. News 2's Macy McLeod has more.
I'm back out here in Shadow Moss Plantation where neighbors are just starting to take a step back and assess all of the water damage from the past few days. But as if that flooding wasn't enough, 2 of these homes were robbed while they were still underwater.
was awful, awful.
It's a kick in the stomach. It just really is just hard to believe that anybody can actually do this while you're going through something like this.
The homeowners at 65 and 67 Wolk Drive had left their homes because the flooding had gotten so bad. And that's when thieves took the opportunity to break in.
They got in through the back with some type of boat, apparently, because they broke into the back of the house and tore the screen off of our screen porch.
They shattered glass doors to get in and stole electronics, firearms, and jewelry, some of it with sentimental value that can never be replaced.
All of my grandmother's jewelry was in a box that my mom had upstairs. So they dumped it, took it. It's all gone.
Neighbors tell me they already have so much on their plates trying to deal with the aftermath of the flood and are shocked someone took advantage of their vulnerability.
For someone to take that opportunity to, you know, come in and take when we already have things taken from us from the flood. So, yeah, it's not good feeling.
Both incidents have been reported to police, and I'm told authorities will be monitoring local pawn shops in case the thieves try to sell any of the items. Macy McLeod, News 2.
Now, there have been 3 sources of moisture. We've gotten moisture out of the Gulf of Mexico, and a dip in the jet stream has been picking that up. At the same time, there have been easterly winds in the Atlantic with an area of high pressure near Bermuda. That's been pushing some moisture our way. And we've also had Hurricane Joaquin offshore. We've been pulling some moisture out of that.
A North Charleston neighborhood in the middle of their own cleanup after being flooded.
News 2's Travis Rice talks about this historic storm and talks about why this isn't the first time this area has flooded, and he talks about the emotional impact on the people who live there.
While the sun returns, North Charleston neighbors survey the wake of the storm.
The water came up through the garage initially.
The water receded, but its mark indelible on Amanda Smith's house.
With this much water, you lose all your floors, you lose any furniture that was touching the floors.
6 inches of floodwater inside her home over the weekend. Earthworms enjoyed the carpet before it was torn out. Tuesday, a steady chorus of industrial fans drying the remaining moisture, not part of the renovation plan for the expecting mother and her fiance.
He had just, like a week before, finished new wood floors in the nursery, new wider baseboards. He'd put up crown molding and scrape the ceiling, and I mean, I guess we still have the ceiling, so.
Smith says they'll have the room ready for her baby boy in February, but flooding has plagued her street even before the storm.
It could happen in a month. It might wait a year, but this is what happens on New Ryder Road, and it's been happening since 2008.
Residents have taken it up with the city, and Smith hopes officials see their side.
So on any other day, I would go to my neighbors and say, what can I do to help you? And I can't help because I need help too.
Seeing all this around you, are you considering moving out?
Who's gonna buy my house? And what kind of person would I be to put it on the market and ask somebody to go through this, knowing that it's going to happen?
New flood warnings tonight along the Black River. News 2's Ashley Yo spent the day with people whose homes are completely underwater.
We are currently on the Black River, a river that on a normal day flows leisurely down to the South Carolina coast, but today is not a typical day. The Black River has overflowed its banks and flooded homes like this one behind me. As you can see, this is the second story of a home. The water has risen all the way to the top. We talked to Joey Smith, whose family lives in this home, and he says the water started on Monday and hasn't stopped since. He says that he and his family are just taking it one day at a time.
Monday morning, 5:30, 6 o'clock, my dad called me and said, come get a boat and come get your mom out of the house. I feel like I've lived all week just in a dream. Yeah, how about y'all? The neighbors are what has been amazing. Tuesday morning, I had 3 boats at my back door with everybody piling stuff together. Everybody's got different people's stuff in garages and houses, and I mean, this little street is just joined together and been amazing at the support we've got from everybody. You never realize what nature and God can do until you can see something like this.
Houses like this one have water completely up to the roof. This house is almost entirely submerged in water, and the water is not done yet. It's projected to rise even higher than it is now. And this is an emotional time for the people who live in this neighborhood. When we asked what we could do for them, they said you can pray.